Hey, shalom. So glad you're here. So today looks like I'm pre-recording this, so hello, but I'll be over here in the chat if you have questions or comments. I'll be checking in to try to see how I can help. If you are moved to support the work we do here, then we have a couple different ways that you can send your support. For a one-time gift, it's usually easiest with paypal.me/Hebrew Literacy. And if you select send to friends and families, that'll lower the fees for us. And if you'd like to sign up for a recurring subscription to help us out, you can sign up over at patreon.com/Hebrew Literacy. And if you want to do a monthly on PayPal, let me know. I can set that up for you so we can make that happen. We really appreciate your support. We're really struggling always over here, just trying to, to scrape on by. So anything that you can do is greatly appreciated. And that's all I want to say about that. So let's get on with our teaching. All right. So we are continuing with our teaching in 2 Kings, chapter 12, verse 9 today. And we will be in the graphic novel. If you're interested in this graphic novel, I'll have a link for the publisher down in the description. I don't get royalties or anything like that, but it is nice to support the publisher. They've done a very creative and interesting work here, and I hope they will continue doing the neat things that they do. Okay, so I apologize if the microphone isn't exactly right tonight. We're having issues with my main microphone, so I'm using a backup right now. Hopefully the sound is okay, at least loud enough for you guys. I did an Isaiah recording, and it was the sound was not so great, but I used a webcam mic, but I found another backup that I'm using. So hopefully this will be all right. It's still a condenser mic, so I think we'll be okay, especially here in the studio. There's not a lot of extra noise. So let's just start with a real quick prayer. Avinu Malkeinu, modi'im anachnu lefanecha, ki anachnu chalim lelmod et toratecha. Anachnu ohavim et shimcha. Ken yhi ratzon ki balayla hazot lekachnu yichyeh tov ba'einecha. All right, let's go. So here we are. This is verse 9. And here's the notes from last time. In case you missed that, you can check it out. It's here in our Language Lab playlist. Or you can check out the the First Kings playlist and see it there. All right, let's go. Verse 9. Vayomer alehem. Vayomer, we're used to this by now. And he said, alehem. So this is El plus hem at the end. So he said, unto hem, unto them. So the hem there at the end. That's the pronominal suffix for them. In fact, when you see hem by itself, hem or hema, that means they, right? So ale, hem, el. It's basically el, hem. You can remember it like that. So unto them. So here comes the quote. I like how they changed the color of the dialogue here. It's like the narrator. In case you haven't noticed in this graphic novel, when the narrator's talking, it's yellow. And then when it's a direct quote, we get a white box, right? So here he is, he's talking. Ma'atem no'atzim v'nashiv davar et ha'am hazeh. Okay, kind of long there. Ma. Ma means what? What? Atem, if you know your pronouns, it's y'all, right? You all. Atem. No'atzim. So this is from the verb ya'atz. Yod ayin tzadi. This is a Nifal participle. All right, so no'atzim. So that's Yod, Ayin, Sofit. Oops, it's not showing. Oh yeah, yellow wasn't the best choice of color there. Let's try that again. Yod, ayin, Vadi. Well, still kind of hard to see. Ya'at, to give counsel, to give advice. Ya'at. And a yoetz is a counselor, like an advisor to the king. There, that looks a bit better. You can see it better now, right? Forget the waterfall. Fancy schmancy. Now, when we put a noon on the front, that is going to change it. Shouldn't choose the color. I think we're going to do blue, right? Adding the noon, that means it's Nifal. Yeah, let's all right, better. Now you can see it. Kind of, right? That's a Nifal. Now, often Nifal makes it so that you're having a passive, but not always. And when you put a form in the Nifal, the passive, so-called passive verbal stem, oftentimes what will happen is if there's a yod at the beginning, that guy is going to change into a vav. Okay. The yod will become a vav. So let's go back and let's look at our text. So here you can see. Shalom. Is audio? Okay, audio. So good, good, good. Oops, sorry. Arrows over here. No atzim. See the vav? That was a yod. Ah, come on. That was a yod. So we have yod, ayin, sadi, ya'atz to advice. This is a Nifal participle, right? Oh, my pen is kind of cool. Scanning. Cool. Sorry, too much fun with the green screen. So look, what's interesting about this is this particular word. It can mean they were being counseled, right? But that's really not what he's saying. Atem, no atim. So it's got this kind of like the middle voice in Greek. It's got this let's do it together feeling, and sometimes that happens. So atem, you all, no atzim, counsel. The idea is together. We'll discuss it together. Let's reason about it together. All right, there we go. Haha. Okay. Venashiv. This is from Shuv. Look, a similar thing has happened to what I was just telling you about. We have this swapping out sometimes. Yods involves they'll sometimes trade places. Though in this case, really what's happening here, this is an extra yod. So if you have a word, a verb, and the middle letter is a vav or a yod, that's called a hollow verb. And oftentimes that will disappear, and you're only left with number one and number three from the root. Okay, so let's take a look here. What is our root? The root is, hold on, sheen. That's number one. And number three is bait. What's happened is number two has gone away, and it was the vav. So what's the yod there? Did the vav become a yod? I was about to say it didn't. I looked. Okay, wait, nope. Nah, it tells me it's hifal. This is a hifal, a causative binyan. So really, what happened is we have a yod that is inserted by the third root letter. And you remember what happens if you stick a yod in there before the third root letter? One, two, three. that is a sign of the hifal, the causative binyan, the causative verbal root. And the nun at the beginning, well, that's just a reminder of nachnu or anachnu. So this guy, he's just reminding you that this is nachnu or anachnu, meaning we. So ve and nashiv. So we will cause to shuv. Shuv is to return. So we will bring back, right, or we will return. What will we return? A davar, you know davar, a word, et ha'am. So et here, ha'am. So it's, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. It feels to me like the author is using et as with here. Because look, nashiv, we will bring davar, a word, et ha'am hazeh. That seems like it's saying the people are the object. So we will return this people a word. I think that's just how he's using it in the syntax here. So we'll go. If I was just reading it myself, it's fine. You can still understand it, right? But trying to parse it out and explain it to you, it's takes a little bit to force it into English. So v'nashiv davar, we will return et hamazeh, this people, a word. Let's translate like that. Asher, which diberu, which they spoke, Eli, unto me. So davar maybe like the matter. We will respond to this people concerning the matter, which asher diberu, they spoke, el, unto I, unto me. Of course, make sure you're seeing your suffix there. Unto me. Can you see that? Look better on my screen. Let me see. Is it ah. Okay, there we go. That was a bit weird. Now you can see it. I was green screening it out. Sorry. Lemol, saying. Hakel min haol. Asher natan avicha aleinu. Sorry, I know you can't see the vowels. I can't either. Let me turn that off. There we go. Hakel. Hakel. This is from the verb kalal. Kalal. Kof, lamed, lamed, kalal. To make light. To belittle. Right? It can be used as a curse, like to treat somebody like you're cursing them, you're belittling them, right? We have the famous saying, Mekalalecha a'or, those who belittle you, those who treat you lightly, as kal, a'or, I will curse. So, but in this case, we have a preformative hey on there. See that guy? So this is telling us that this is the hifal binyan. This is a hifal, another causative form. And it's an imperative. It's a hifal imperative, so a command. Hakel, hakel. So make light. Make light. Not like light, but like not heavy. Make lighter. We'll just say like this. Make light, min, from, ha, the old, the yoke. So lighten the yoke. Lighten from the yoke. Like take something off of it. Asher which? Natan, he gave, or he set, in this case probably set. Subject, avicha, your father. And remember, that's the normal verb order in Hebrew. The normal order is verb. That's the action, the thing that's doing something. And then subject follows. Okay? That's normal, so no special emphasis here. And then, of course, the cha at the end, that's telling us it's yours. Like ka in Tagalog, right? Sorry for the English speakers. The av of cha, your father. So asher natan avicha, which your father set, probably not gave here. The nuance of natan is probably set. Al upon enu, upon us. He set upon us. Okay. Yep. All the suffixes in that verse I have marked. So you can see, here is Vayomer Alehem, he said unto him, unto them, Ma'atem, what are you, how about, or how, or why, how, or in this case, how, atem, do you all, no atsim, counsel, v'nashiv davar et ha'am hazeh, that we might return this people a word, right, like a response, you could probably even translate response, asher which, or concerning, diberu, they spoke a lie, there's a suffix, unto me, Lemor saying, Hakel, make kalal, make light, min from ha'ol, the yoke, asher natan avicha, which the avavcha, which your father Natan set, aleinu, upon us. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 suffixes in that. Now, you guys, if you've been with me all along, you should be mastering the suffixes already. Okay, if you're just kind of new, then this might be something new for you. But it's still good to review every once in a while, I think, like that. And the colors just kind of like pop out, make it easier for people to see what's going on. Okay. Go back, go back. I did not say to do that. And I will just disappear from the scene for a second, give you a chance for comments and questions. Okay, you guys about ready? All right, let me reactivate. Hopefully, we had time to answer any questions. All right. Let's see. Let me see if I have this one zoomed in on the next. Okay, good, 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 good. All right, is that right? Yeah, good. Okay. All right, verse 10. Vaidaberu alive. Hailadim. So let me just mark it to make sure you see it. So the word is diber, to speak. We've had this word in our words of the day. If you haven't been doing the vocabulary, please check out my shorts list playlist or word of the day list. And those are very common words that you should be learning. The yod at the front of a verb, when it's attached, it's not part of the verbal root. This tells us it's third person, i.e., he or they. Okay. And then the u at the end, when you have that yod at the front and the u at the end, well, not so great, but fine. That tells us it's plural. So we have third person plural. So that's they. So yedaberu means they are speaking. Again, not in modern, as in Tanachim, or they will speak. And then we have our magical Vav conversive. Here it is. That's like our time changer. Technically aspect changer, but it's fine. You can think of it as time for now. So instead of yadaberu, they are speaking or they will speak, we change the aspect and it's like a perfect. Now it becomes like a perfect. So, and they spoke and they said, they spoke alive unto Vav, unto him. So ale unto he, so unto him, to make it sound right in English. Now, remember I said we have verb and subject? And I've shared with you guys before that sometimes there can sneak in there a little something. So you have your verb, and then you have your subject here. Subject's coming up. I haven't translated it yet. And then sometimes you can get a smaller word can sneak in there. That's what's happening here. Like an indirect object will just jump in there. So that's not the subject, clearly. So vai debaru, then they spoke, alive unto him. Who's the they? Ha the Yeladim. I love this. I love it. It's so funny. So what does Yeled mean? Yeled. A Yeled is a baby. A baby. Oh, look at the baby. A baby. That's Yeled. Yeled. Sometimes used as child, right? But it's really closer in meaning to baby because the verb yalad means to birth. So this one's baby, and this one's technically it says he birthed. I won't write that for these confusing times. I'll just put to birth, even though it's not the infinitive. To birth. So if a woman is a subject, yaleda, then it means she birthed. If a man is the subject of yalad, then it means he sired. He sired. Okay? So different nuance. We've seen this with some other words in Hebrew, depending on who the subject is, right? Like you remember with Zachar, we had Zachar, Zion, Kaf, Resh. Zion, Kaf, Resh, Zachar. Zachar is to remember when a human is the subject. But when Hashem, when Elohim is the subject, then it doesn't mean remember because it's kind of ridiculous. So what? God forgot, right? So sorry, I'm quoting Ibn Ezra there. Like when I can't remember where he comments on this, but when he's explaining to his students in one of his classic commentaries, he says, "So what? Does it mean that God forgot? Chas v'shalom, of course not. God forbid. It means when Hashem is the subject, He decided to take action. Then, right? So when God remembers somebody, it doesn't mean remember like our synapses are firing in our brains. It means He decided to take action. See, many words are different like this, and verbs are different depending on the subject. If it's God or if it's us. Even nouns. If you talk about emunah with the aleph, emunah. Emunah, when you talk about a person having it, this is faith, big faith. But when it's God, like we say in the prayer, Rabbi emunato, right? Abundant is his emunah. So what? God has faith? What faith in whom? It's faithfulness then, right? It means he's steadfast, right? He has fidelity, etc., etc. So you see how the subject really matters. Be careful. This is very important. If you don't understand this concept in Hebrew of how it nuances depending on who's the subject, right? Then you can end up having some heretical theologies. So really, really have to understand. Things like God forgetting and stuff, right? I mean, I guess that doesn't really hurt anybody if you say he could forget. We still want to serve him, right? But it implies that his natural state is that of having gray matter, right? And it's not. All right. Hada Yeladim, the baby. So Vayadeberu Elive Hayaladim. But the baby said unto him, see, they could have used other words. They could have said Na'arim. That'd be the more normal word to say for youths, right? Like a teenager or someone in his 20s, young 20s. That's a Na'ar. Noon Ayin Reish, a Na'ar. We could have said that. That he's a Na'ar. But instead it says, again, the nuance for Yeled can be a child, right? But it's not usually like an older, like an older teenager or something, right? Or definitely not a 20. So you can tell the prophet who's recording this is injecting his own, well, and probably Hashem's understanding of this. So it's just beautiful. I don't know if it comes across. I didn't check any of the English translations. You guys let me know, maybe in the comments below or in the live chat. Let me know if your translation says the babies. It's okay to say children, right? But it's the feeling is funnier in the Hebrew, all right? So it's more of a mockery. And this sort of thing goes on. There's even okay. Sorry, I'm going to the. I was going to start talking about. We have a special type of genre called the mocking song, like songs of mockery. All right. So the baby spoke unto him. Oh, okay. The subject is longer. Excuse me. Let me go back to red. The subject is longer. It's actually a compound subject, right? So it's I'll overline the subject. It's Hailadim, but it keeps going. Asher Gadelu Ito. You see that? That whole thing is the subject. So we'll correct our translation. Asher Hu Gadelu. Gadal means to become great or to grow up. Like those of you in the Isaiah dominance class, you've seen Hashem says, Gadalti, I caused to grow up when he's complaining about Israel, right? Ito. It means with, with him. Let's mark that suffix. Okay. Same thing as the vav at the end. Don't worry that up here it's a live and over here it's ito. It's still a vav. It's still a waw. Right? Consonantal text is the same. So now I'm going to make it in smoother English. But now let's jump to the subject. The babies or the children who grew up with him, they spoke unto him. Lemo, saying. This is an infinitive. Lemo. Okay. What did they say? Kotoma. Go go gaga. Okay, sorry. Kotoma la'am hazeh. Ko, such. Thusly, such. Like, the very famous, thus saith the Lord. It's Ko amar Adonai. Literally, such said Hashem. So, Ko, such, Tomar, the Tav, at the beginning is you, reminds us of you. Such, you, Amar, will say, le, to, the, people. Which people? Haze, the, That's part of the, sorry. Zen, this one. So to the people of this one, that's just how they talked back then. So to this people, asher hu diberu, they spoke. See the u at the end, that u is telling us it's they, it's plural. They spoke, eilecha, unto you. Lemol, saying, avicha, hichbid et lainu. Okay. Avicha, your father, hichbid, he caused to be kavod. Okay, maybe kavad actually. Okay, let me mark up some things. Getting a little too excited there. Sometimes I just want to go on with it. Let's mark the suffixes we're having so far. Kaf at the end means you. Despite the vowel, it's either you to a boy or you to a girl. It's going to be kaf. Again, we have chaf again, or kaf. Your Abba. Okay. And then over here we have nu. Aleinu. Rabbi nu. And there's another one coming up. I might as well mark that. All right. So Eilecha, unto you, Lemo, saying, Av, so that's father, of Cha, your father, and then whatever this verb is. So let's look at the verbal root. The verbal root you probably recognize. Kavad or kaved. Kaf, beit, dalet. Okay. So kaved means heavy, right? Or to be heavy. But then we have the modifiers that are changing the verbal stem to tell us how the function of the verbal root works, all right? And this is really good to know if you haven't learned this yet, or if you're not rather recognizing this pattern yet. Try to recognize it, because this will save you a lot of memorization. You don't have to memorize different words. If you know one verbal root and you know this part, then you can figure it out, okay? So here's our root, Kaf, Beit, Dalet. And then remember what I said, when you shove a yod in before the third root letter, that's that guy there. Oh, it's green. My pen is green. You can't see it. Okay, fine. Use my finger. There, boom. Then that's the mark that it's the causative. So to cause to be heavy. And the hey at the beginning also. That's not always there, but that's also telling you. So hichbid means he caused to be kaved. He caused to be heavy. Because, in fact, the keved is the liver. It's the heaviest part of the body, right? He caused to be heavy. So avicha, your father, hichbid. Now look what's happening here. Didn't I tell you that verb comes first and then subject? Right? Right, we saw that. Right over there, I have it in red. The sorry. No. There we go. There we go. Okay. So here's our verb. Vaidaberu. Then they spoke. Who's the they? Haladim asher gadolito. The children, the babies who grew up with him. Okay. But over here, look what's happening. The order is changing. Look at this one. Now we have avicha. That's the subject, isn't it? Your father. Your father. And then the verb is right here. He made kaved. He made heavy. He made weighty. Your father, right? My pen. See, it's see through. I forgot. So you can see through me to the text with a pen. It's like scanning. You can see the word that is inside. I've consumed word. I'm sorry, too much fun. Now it's reversed. It's subject first. So usually in Tanachit, in biblical Hebrew, when you change the word order, an expected word order, this is a way of demonstrating emphasis. So that's the syntax that's happening. So really what they're saying is, Avicha hichbid et orlainu. Your father, like you can kind of imagine pointing the finger almost. Your daddy did something. Your father, hichbid, increased the weight, increased the burden, right? Made heavy. We don't translate the DDO. This is from which is a yoke. A yoke. The yoke of nu, our yoke. Ve'ata, but you, hakel. So we have another hifal from the verb kalal. We saw that before. You make it kalal, not make a curse, make it light. This is a hifal imperative. Make light. But you make light. May, from, aleinu, upon nu, upon us. Ko tedaber, such to you daber will speak. Let me mark those yous with blue, just for those who need a little bit of extra help. See that tav? That guy reminds us of Atan. This part of Atan. Atan meaning you. That is what that preformative tav should remind you of. Okay? And we also had one over here, up at top. Let's do it like that. Okay? The tav is reminding you of Atan. Okay? So tedako, such, tedaber. You shall daber, you shall speak. Such you shall say. So here comes the advice from Haladim, from the Hebrews. Maybe I'll pause just for a second in case there's any comments or questions. Oops, I actually paused my recording. Okay. Hopefully we handle any comments or questions. Let's come back. All right. Ko tedaber, such you shall say, you shall speak. Alehem. Ah, and everything went green. Binyan. Okay, let me mark our suffix. Unto him. So unto them. Okay. So you shall speak. Al is from El, pointing with my invisible pen again. Unto him, unto them. Katani ava mimotnei avi. Oy, it's kind of embarrassing to translate. So probably these vowels are not right. This is just weird, like Kani and then the Dagesh and the Noon. Looks very strange. It's like it's trying to say I became small. So this could either be some dialectical form or it's probably supposed to be like Kotni. Kotni. So from Katan, Katan is to be small, right? Which is kind of interesting because we just, in the previous verse, heard that he had grown up, he had become gadol with these kids. So kotni, it's the kotan of ni, right? Let me, and then it actually makes some sense to have that dagesh there because you have two noons overlapping, right? Koten of ni, yeah, it's got to be koteni. Okay, ni. So I'm going to circle the dagesh to show that one of the noons is that, and the other is from the actual root. I'm going to check the Hebraic apparatus. I'm curious what they mark it as. Yeah, they say probably kotoni or kotni, either of those. All right, so either way that works. So it means my little thing. Okay, my little. Now, before your mind goes to the gutter, many commentators, many of the rabbis think this means little finger. My little finger. There's a debate. They're not sure. That kotni is my koten, my little finger. Okay, but kimchi says it's his shlong. Okay, so now this is just what it kind of makes sense. Young, boisterous boys, picture them like as teens or maybe 21, 22, something. They could be saying something like this, right? So they're saying this is what he should say. Say to them, we'll go with my little finger, okay? My little finger, my little thing is literally what it says. My little one. My little one, I'm holding up my pinky, is ava. Ava. This means thick. Auf Deutsch, das heißt dich. Kommt nie dich. Okay, my little finger is thick. And then we have the mem of comparison. See it there? See the dagash? Making sure it's showing up for you. That's from the word min. Remember min? Min means from. And then the noon has assimilated. We'll just skip behind those letters there, pretend there's some kind of a barrier here. Okay. And it comes back out from underneath, and there it is. That's what the dot is. That's the noon has assimilated. So min motni became mi motni. So the word is motnayim, or emoten, not emoten meaning a gift. Motnayim means loins or hips. So kotni, my little finger or my little thing, you could be saying his shlong, is ava, thick. And then the min of comparison is how we say er, like thicker than motne avi. We have a construct chain. Then the loins or the hips of avi, of my father. And you have to say the hip of my father, because the last word in the construct chain is definite, right? It's not anybody's father, he's my father. Avi. The av of e. Right? So that then imputes its definiteness to the whole. Stop it. Oi! To the whole chain, in this case, just two words. Meaning the V. So for those of you on cell phones, it might be kind of small to see. Let me. Yeah, it's a bit better, right? It's a bit better. Yeah. Okay. So, ve'ata, so you, hakel, make light, me alenu, from upon us. And actually, let me colorize that too, just to be consistent here. I always wonder if I'm overdoing it, but usually when I do this, people thank me for it, so blame them. We'll just do the box around here. What's happening here is we tried to do the same trick, right? We tried to come over here. Here we have our line. Okay. Gonna go under the line. This one's going to come out here. Okay. And he tries to go into the ayin, the noon. The noon tries to go into the ayin, but the ayin cannot take a dagesh, so it rejects it, and that's why we have two dots under it instead of one. One of those dots is the dot that belonged in the ayin, but instead it's over there. Okay? May aleinu, from us, from upon us. Ko tedaber, such you shall speak. Alehem, unto them. And again, I'm not reading it like it's written. It's probably kotni, without the dagesh, or kotoni, one of those. My little thing, I'm showing my finger here, is, we have to say in English, ava memotne avi, is thicker than the loins of my father. So you see, probably, I think Kimchi's right. I think he's talking about it. They're telling him to talk about the shlong, right? Because why talk about the loins, the hips? You know what I mean? It's like we're talking little finger. But anyway, it could be. It could be either way. All right, so that's at 46 minutes. So I think this is a good stopping point. We'll finish verse 11 next time. And if you have any comments or questions, hopefully I'm around in the chat box. If not, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know about comments, questions, advice for improvement. I hope the sound was okay. We're trying to get things working with our normal microphone, so hopefully I can discover the ancient Sumerian mini USB cable that it requires. It's not so easy these days to find one of those. I think that's probably the problem. Okay, so until next time, you guys make sure to have a great rest of the day, rest of the evening, whatever the case might be, and stick with it. If you're new and you're kind of overwhelmed, don't worry, you'll get it. Right now, everything's alien, and then a little bit less will be alien, and a little bit less will be alien, and a little bit less will be alien, and before you know it, you'll be recognizing stuff. I get comments almost every day from people now saying that they've had a breakthrough, they're so grateful that that this method we're using really is helping them. So please stick with us, stay with us. I think it'll help you too. All right? And it's worth the payoffs. Learn your vocabulary and do the immersion with us learning. If you do those two things and you stick with it, you will be able to master Tanachit. And our first goal is Torah Hebrew. You'll be able to read the Torah with understanding and know what you're reading, and it's just nothing can top it, guys. Nothing tops it. When bad stuff's happening in life and you know you have this ability and you enjoy it and you love, not just like some strange ability, but because it's Lashon HaKodesh, the Holy Tongue, it's worth it. It's so worth it. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow for Tehillim. Shalom, shalom.